And welcome back to the Expo Factor, the show that explores what really makes trade shows successful. I'm your host, Lee Ali, and I'm the founder of Expo Stars Interactive. And as you've been listening over the past few episodes, or even if you're a new listener or viewer, we sit down here with industry experts to uncover the strategies, the insights, and the practical lessons that help exhibitors create more engaging experiences and achieve better results on the show floor. Today's guest is my good friend, Steve Deckel. He is the CEO of Deckel Moneypenny and a respected leader in the exhibition contractor industry. We've known each other for a while, and he's got decades of experience bringing exhibits to life. Steve has worked behind scenes on countless projects worldwide and understands what separates a smooth, successful event from one filled with unnecessary stress. And today, we're going to be talking about what contractors wish exhibitors knew. We've all been there. We've all seen these arguments on the show floor of what customers wanted and what the contractors have actually delivered. And what we're going to be looking at is why trade shows should be treated as live performances rather than marketing campaigns, to the importance of planning, collaboration, and trusting the experts around you. So if you've ever wondered how to get more value from your exhibit while making life easier for everyone involved, this episode is packed with practical advice. So I'm going to say hello to Steve. Hi, Steve. Welcome to the Expo Factor.
Hey Lee, it's great to see you. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while since we did one of these.
It has been a while, and I think last time I saw you, we were in Munich. It was a little bit hotter than it is for me right now. Hopefully, it's nice and
Okay.
comfortable
Yeah.
where you are.
Yeah, so Manchester is, we're kind of back to normal. It's a mixture of rain and a mixture of sunshine, and the temperature's got a bit cooler as well. So,
Okay, that's good to hear.
life is back to normal after this heat wave.
Well, that is good. That is good.
Excellent. So, have you been on the show floor recently?
It's been. No, we're getting ready for our busy season right now. Right.
Right, okay.
It's a. We're in our shop and our facility. We are going into overtime, but most I would say probably 2 or 3 weeks we're really going to hit the ground running, and we'll be going until 20 first quarter 27.
Yep.
So
Oh,
good time to
fantastic.
talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of a strange period, isn't it? Where during August, we don't actually have a lot of events, but we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes.
Hmm.
So it's been the same for us. Our autumn season kicks off, or fall season, as you would say, kicks
Right.
off next Friday in Munich, of all places, at the
Fun.
ESC Congress. Small world indeed. So, Steve,
Yeah.
for our viewers and listeners, tell us a bit more about yourself. How did you start in the world of exhibitions? What do you enjoy about the industry? And tell us a bit more about some of the projects and the work that you do.
Well, what I love about the industry is I really hope, I believe I have a growth mindset, and I really like to
Yep.
learn. I really like to understand, really like to connect with people. And I feel like it's a great opportunity. I've had a meeting today about a thing I had no idea existed, and people sit down and break it down and understand, and we ask questions. I learn. I just love that. And every day is something, you're learning something new every day, and I think that's
Yeah.
great. And how I got in the
Yeah.
industry, I knew when I went to college that I wanted to be in advertising,
Yep.
and I do a lot of volunteer work with universities now.
Mhm.
That and that's why I tell the students, or current students, or is that if I had my way, if my vision for the future, I probably wouldn't be in the industry, because I wanted to work in print magazines and linear TV and all these things that wouldn't like they just I didn't know. So the
Yeah.
thing is to have a growth mindset, be open to what the
Yeah.
universe is presenting to you, what your opportunities
Yeah.
are, and yeah, I love I love what I do. It's a great job. But yeah, we mostly are like you, business to business. That's why when people ask me what I do for a living, and if I'm at a party and I don't really feel like talking to them, I'll say I build exhibits. And then that's a killer. No one wants to talk about that. But if I really want to talk to them, I'll say businesses hire us because they want another business to change their opinion about
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Oh, that's a great way to describe it. Yeah.
And that's what you do.
Yeah, yeah. I tell people sometimes, as you say, sometimes it's really difficult to explain to people that have no concept of exhibitions. So my description is always, I teach people how to say hello.
Well, they do need that. Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, that's how I describe it. But you're right, and we did a whole podcast about that. And for those of you who really want to listen about, you know, uh, choosing careers in exhibitions, check out our IFIS podcast. That's on ifisnet.com. But that we did that a few weeks ago, Steve, and that was a great one. We got some great response from that. So, in terms of looking at behind the scenes,
Right.
a lot of the work that we do, both yourself and me, doesn't get to be seen. Okay,
Right.
until the day of the event. Okay, and the whole process starts, when you have that initial pitch meeting. But um, what do exhibitors fundamentally misunderstand about what it takes to bring a stand to life? Okay, so when you're in pitch meetings and you're talking to clients and they're giving you all of this. I mean, what are the key misunderstandings that you've come across?
I literally, and not exaggeration, 9 o'clock Eastern time, I just had this conversation with somebody. Is that we
Really?
meet
Okay.
with the, right? So we meet with the marketing team, and I was talking to the marketing team, and they were telling us about this project and uh, all the things and everything that goes into it. And I told them, like, I am never going to forget who's paying me.
Yeah.
You're paying me. Marketing team's
Yeah.
paying me.
Yeah.
But I need to talk to the sales team, and I need to talk to the product team, and I need to understand everybody's perspective, where they are coming from on what they need to achieve success at the event. And I think that's what people don't understand. I think two things that I say, and it's international audience. I think everybody, American Thanksgiving, everybody, does people know? It's
Yeah.
like when we're talking to somebody, I will say there's a big difference between attending Thanksgiving and hosting Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and people will say that they have a lot of experience. Like, yes, you've attended Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That we're going to host it.
Yeah.
And that the other thing we will say is that you gotta, if it's a book, right? For
Yeah.
example, Pygmalion, the book, which I think we're gonna make a play out of it. They made a movie out of it. The
Yeah.
movie's different than the play, and the play is
Yeah.
different than the book. They're all the same story, but they're all different. And I think people come in and they expect us to make a movie or make a book. Like, we make plays. We make
Yeah.
plays.
Fantastic.
Right.
So you've made a great point there that you need all the stakeholders of the company to actually come together
Right.
to make a great exhibition experience actually happen. So we in the business describe companies like Deckel Moneypenny as stand contractors or stand builders.
Mm-hmm.
But does that description massively undersell, in terms of what you do?
I would say the way we view ourselves is we view ourselves as an agency that
Yeah.
we have done projects for people that we didn't cut a single piece of wood. We didn't build
Yeah.
anything. We
Right. Okay.
we people will come to us with the challenge, and then we will come back with the solution. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's a stand and sometimes it isn't. And sometimes it's things outside of the stand,
Yeah.
because that's what one of the things when we all had a lot of time to read books in the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was Priya Parker in the New York Times.
Yeah.
She had written this book about communication and how
Yeah.
people talk and how people meet, and it's an art of gathering. It's a great book.
Yeah.
And that during the pandemic, when we couldn't gather, every week she would write what you just said. Like, you asked me, what are the things that people don't see and what are the things that are hidden?
Yeah.
She wrote all the things that are hidden that we take for granted, that we don't. Hey, we need a way to do this, we need to do this,
Yeah.
we need to do that. And I think
Yeah.
that one of the things that she says is that the event doesn't start when the person arrives. The
Yeah.
event starts when the person starts thinking about the event.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the, so that's, we don't think of ourselves just as a stand builder, because we'll help
Yeah.
with the invitation and the ads leading up to the event and the whole, and it doesn't end when they leave. It ends, it hopefully never ends, that they
Yeah.
have communication through with our clients throughout going
Yeah.
forward. So yeah, and we think it is underselling us. And we don't think that we think that it's, I think that's why we get along, is you kind of do,
Yeah.
you're not just one thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can't. It's such a wide-ranging industry, isn't it? I mean, it's when you really think about what goes into that 3-day experience and how many people are actually involved in that.
Mhm.
Okay, and when you think about the start of the process, when we started to pitch with the client, and then all the way to the delivery, okay, and even to the end, actually, in terms of the follow-up process, and how many things are actually involved in that chain. And sometimes when I think about it, it just blows my mind in terms of how does that chain of events actually happen? And most often, um, it, it just works. I mean, if you think about a piece of jigsaw and how difficult it is to put it together, right? I just
Right.
find it amazing.
But yeah, you start at the spot where you solve the parts that are easy and you work to the parts
Yeah,
that are hard of the jigsaw. Yeah, no,
yeah,
you're absolutely right. And I think
yeah,
one thing that we do that I think is so helpful, I would encourage anybody in the industry to do this, is that we worked on a very complex project. And the gentleman that I worked with, he was a chemist, had a PhD in chemistry. I probably got what they call a gentleman's C in chemistry. Is so I had no idea half the time, and it was a very complex topic. And then what we do, this is what I encourage. First day of the show, I was there. I put on their kit. I was
yeah,
dressed like them. I had a badge.
yeah,
I said I worked for them. I worked that station. So
yeah,
then the next, I could say, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And it was funny to me, is what to tie back with what you said about learning people,
yeah,
teaching people how to say hello.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, the chemist came over to me and said, "You're getting more scans than anybody else. What are you saying?" And I was
yeah,
like, "Oh, okay. Well, you guys are thinking about what you want to say."
yeah,
I'm asking them. I just say hi, and I ask them,
yeah,
what do you think of the conference so far?"
yeah,
And then they start telling me about the conference and the things that they are interested in, and then they start talking about me to me.
yeah, yeah.
And it's what you like, that's what you like. So similar to what you do, is I don't think that
Yeah,
people think about that at all.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a fine art form, isn't it? So let's get to the heart of the matter then. Okay.
Okay.
What is it that you think that exhibitors uh, should know? Okay, from a contractor perspective, that they
Right.
don't know already, that they maybe get, often very wrong.
I mean, to get my salty comment out of the way at the very beginning, I really wish they knew how to operate a calendar,
Yeah,
because there's so many things. And people, I think if you were to stop most people and say, like, do you love the planet? Do you want the planet to survive? Do you think we should be responsible? And like, they will say all of these things,
Yeah.
and then they will not manage the timeline, and will air freight things, which is the worst way to do it. And that I think people, you need to set a plan, a work back plan, and stick to it, and don't let the clock dictate, let the solution dictate the plan. And I think that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing. We had somebody today, the one I was just on at 9 o'clock. It's a show at Frankfurt in 2027 in March, and they apologized to me that they were late. And like, that is
Wow. Okay.
that's an appropriate to me. Like, well, it's not appropriate to apologize, but it's like, oh no, you guys are okay. It's August 21. Yeah. You're good. But I mean, you're right. Yeah, I wouldn't have let it go too much further.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's one thing.
All right. Okay. And how does that kind of impact you from a contractor perspective in terms of the timings? And what kind of timeframes does a typical project take for you? I mean, when would I normally say to our clients that they should be starting at least 6 months in advance, trying to pick the team and educate the team. But from a design perspective and a build perspective, I guess that's probably 9 to 12 months in advance.
Well, yeah, I think that's one thing that we would encourage people to do, and they don't have to pay us for 12 months.
Yeah.
But we prefer to think of it as a program, annualized program, and that what are you doing in between, and that it's kind of like, I already told you I barely passed chemistry, so I'm not a doctor. But like, it's like going to the doctor. Is like, okay, you're coming in for your checkup. Hey, what did you guys do on these other campaigns? How's that working? Do we need but think about it holistically. And we work on some projects that it's like the Brooklyn Bridge. They paint it and then they start again. It gets painted every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think a smaller stand, 6 months is probably about right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. And then in terms of one big thing that I always hear exhibitors complain about is pricing.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. And it's to me, I think it's crazy. And I'm sure I do it too, because I'm a human being, but we will sit down with them and say, and I've had this conversation, we have a deck that's ready to go right now. That's like, hey, look, if we move this time frame out, and we add in weeks to the schedule, you won't pay overtime, you won't pay double time. We showed somebody how we could, because they were having a budget constraint with inflation and tariffs and all the things that go on in the world, and they needed to pick up 10%. And we said, hey, yeah, you could pick up 25% if we did this.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I mean, I think it's a very, very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like, I should run more, right? And I know I should run more, and I don't. So,
yeah.
So there you go.
It's difficult, isn't it? I guess, I mean, with so many, I think the other thing is, and I love what you do with getting all the stakeholders involved from the outset, but when you have multiple stakeholders, is it always a challenge to get decisions and get through, the designs and things like that? How challenging is that?
Super challenging. And I think especially when you're talking to people that are used to getting their way, that you're talking to the head of product, or you're talking to the head of sales, and they're not used to somebody, especially some crazy person who doesn't even work there, telling them no. Yeah, that is a little challenging. But I mean, one thing that we do, because it is different from everything, one thing I do to level set is, especially like the product teams. I'll say, you ever push the launch of a product? You ever extend a deadline? It's like, and I go, no, tell me, like, great. I've never done that in my life. I've never, because I can't.
Yeah.
And that at the show Saturday Night Live in the U.S., Lorne Michaels was the producer since the 1970s, and he has it when people are working on a challenge and they're not there yet, and the writers and they're just sitting there and it's not working. When he leaves, he says, "Well, show doesn't go on because you're ready. Show goes on because it's 11:30," and he walks out of the room. And this is like, and then makes people wake up.
Yeah.
So we will say that. I've said that many times. In that, hey, the racy, which is what I don't know. Do you say the same thing? But who's responsible? Who's accountable? Who's informed? I think we're having situations like sometimes we have to go through and say, so you're informing us of what you need.
Yeah.
We have done what you need. You can't inform us, like, you need these things. We're doing these things. You can't tell us what color it is because that's over here. This is another department. Product can't tell us that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's always having that at the beginning and having guidelines and having a framework where you can talk about it, and that it's there, hearing them, but then also it just doesn't always work. But you gotta.
Yeah.
I have said to people too, to go back with the physician analogy, is that when you go to like if you fall and your wrist hurts and you go get an x-ray, do you read the x-ray or does the physician read the x-ray? I'm reading the x-ray right now.
Okay.
Right. So
that's a great metaphor.
So
So time, obviously, you've just mentioned, is one thing that we can never ever replace or buy back or even buy in some cases, right? So why is that why is time fundamentally different to every other marketing activity compared to exhibitions? Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess, back in the day of linear TV, they used to, and when I went to school and I studied it, they compared it to a banana. It is a perishable commodity. That that minute it does expire. It's like an airline seat; it does expire. But I do think so many other things, we are just not in control of when the event is, and we're not in control. Another thing that we talk to people about is that when we're talking to the sales team, we're talking to the teams, it's like, oh, it's a 3-day. Most events in the US are 3 days. And if it's a 3-day event, I'm like, yeah, it's not a 3-day event. It's 6 hours. It's it's 18-hour event. And so it's a very compact thing. And that you don't think about it in terms of 3 days, because that's not 3 days.
Yeah.
You have a series of bursts. You have a series, and it is, what the beauty of it is that you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea what's going to happen, and just to embrace it. But you can't control. You can only control what you can control.
Yeah. Well, it's like a football game, isn't it? Really.
Right.
Because it's a random set of occurrences that actually happen, and you just try to control the best you can, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but I think the English manager could have controlled a few things in the World Cup.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And I won't mention what your good president tried to do.
Yeah. Well, he has no control, so that's the problem. Yeah, that is a problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. So on that, I mean, what do you find in your experience that exhibitors, what are they trying to do like 2 to 3 weeks in advance that they should have done 6 months in advance? What kind of stuff are they trying to pack in just before the event starts, rather than thinking about it, when they were kicking off the whole process?
Well, I will say one thing that comes up a lot because they think they minimize it, but
Yeah,
swag or merch or giveaways or promos, uh, when we start, we will start with what are you giving away? If we're helping them make it, we know what it is. But if we're not helping them make it, it's something that already exists.
yeah,
What's the interaction? And then first question, what is the physical object? And then we go, okay, well, um, what does the visitor have to do to get that object?
yeah,
And they go, okay. And then we go, okay, well, like I just said a minute ago, so 18 hours, they have to talk to you for 5 minutes. This is how many you should bring. And they go, oh,
yeah,
that's not enough. I'm like, I just did the math.
yeah,
Yeah. if you
yeah,
have if you have four people doing it and it takes 5 minutes and you have 18 hours, this is how many it
yeah,
is. And that's usually an argument about it. But why I bring it up is that the space required, it's object permanence. It exists. If
yeah,
you're not, it
yeah,
still exists. It has to be somewhere.
yeah,
And that people will say, well, I'll do all of this work about getting everything nailed down, and then we'll get a call. Oh, we have a pallet of squish balls that we get. Why are you sending me 8,000 squish balls? And
yeah,
what do you even like? That is something that they will, when it's 3 or 4 weeks out, like that's something that always is coming up, or
yeah, yeah. I think
it's,
it's a sense of panic. For
yeah,
me, when exhibitors are trying to pack everything into the last minute, I mean, it happens so much with those. Obviously, we provide staffing, and then a week before the show, we get started. We start getting asked, "Oh, can they work an extra couple of hours, or the hours are reduced, or something like, can they also do this, this, and this?" Okay, well,
right.
that's not what we've agreed.
No, no.
And okay, and then you say no, and then they start getting upset. But these things matter because what you're doing is you're impacting on other people's resources and time, right?
1,000%. And I think that's what at the beginning you're so right. At the beginning, if you say, "Oh, we're going to have 16 hours of this," they'll go, "Why is it going to take 16 hours? It would
Yeah,
only be this." Well, okay, well, I'll make it 10. And then they
yeah,
ask for the other six at the end. It's like, okay, well, I told you it was going to be 16. Now here's
yeah,
your
yeah,
change order for the other six.
yeah,
And we talked about it. And you're right too. Something that I firmly believe in here is that we charge by the hour, so we pay people by the hour.
yeah,
And that what you're right is, so if we're asking somebody to skip, you have work and you have your personal life, and if
yeah,
we're infringing on your personal life, we should, if if we have no penalty, then we're not going to respect it. So our
yeah,
penalty is we have to pay overtime, and that
yeah,
so the customers have to pay overtime, so they have to respect it. Because we have
yeah,
people all the time why are you not salary? It's like, well, that's a great way to ruin somebody's weekend.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just going back to the point of the squish balls and the last minute add-ons, if you
Right.
like, is that usually through lack of confidence in terms of what they're doing because it's just an afterthought? They've probably seen what their competitors are going to do, and then they say, "Oh, we need this as well."
Right. I think that's so insightful. It's an anxiety. It's a we were talking about what you can control and what you can't control. And I think
Yeah,
people focus on the things in their control and then they overthink these things.
yeah,
Yeah. I think another thing that we frequently do, and at first they laugh when you talk about it, but everybody is just has blinders on, is thinking about what they're working on.
yeah,
We have a big project. We showed what their neighbors did last year. Like, hey,
yeah,
this is what your neighbors, this is the last 3 years. This is what they did. This is what
yeah,
it's going to look like. Hey, look, there's pretty consistent. They come all the way out to the aisle. They don't come out to the aisle. They do this, they
yeah,
do that. This
yeah,
is where their demo is. And at first they look a little dumbfounded that you're talking about it.
yeah,
But you're right. Like, don't think about the squish ball. Think about that. Think about how you're going to interact with everybody else.
Yeah.
That's in your control.
Yeah. Oh,
With
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a, I can't remember if it was some American general said, uh, "Don't ever forget the opposing army has a vote too."
Right.
So yeah, that they also get to have an opinion.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay. So we've talked about the negatives. Let's
Yeah,
talk about the positives then. So, what does a really successful exhibitor to contractor relationship look like from your perspective?
I think what's successful is that uh, I think if you want them to believe you,
Yeah.
you have to say things that are bad about for you,
Yeah.
and that if you only say things where you win, they're never
Yeah.
going to believe you. So you
Yeah.
have to be something isn't going well. You got to tell
Mhm.
them, like, we're all human
Yeah.
beings. A truck got delayed, a worker is sick, some things happen. You have to tell them that. You try to hide it, then why should they trust you? You're hiding
Yeah.
things.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's a live environment. Okay.
Hmm.
And there's no hiding place. I always tell people that I work with that in this business, there is never ever a hiding place. Okay.
Right.
You might go into a big corporate, okay, and you
Right.
might work with, 10,000, 15,000, and your mistake might get hidden and you might get away with it. Okay. But
Right.
from my experience in the last 18 years that I've been in the industry, every single mistake or anything like that, okay, is come out in the open. Okay.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure that's your experience as well.
100%. 100%. And I think that that's something you're right. Like, there are mindsets, and it's not one is right and one is wrong, but
Yeah.
there are people who play in the Philharmonic that have a conductor and they're amazing.
Yeah.
That's not what we're doing. We are
Yeah.
playing jazz.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to call out B. Oh, that's our key. Okay, we're playing B.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it may be that, I've seen these instances a lot of times on show floors where you've done a fantastic job. It may be the biggest booth and 99.9%, but there might be a little scratch just
Right.
in the corner. Okay.
Right. Right.
And guess what? That's what the focus is on. That's the only
That's
thing that they'll
all they.
actually remember. The exhibitors
That,
will actually remember. And then you get
exactly.
a hard time over it for the next 3 months.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, yeah, I think to be, you're right. And I think you did, is going to come, you are going to have to hear about it, but also be open to uh, that feedback. And we had a bid on a project one time, and that the people who had the project had a mistake, and
Yeah.
that this is why everything was going out to RFP, and
Yeah.
that they did 3 big national events, and then they had a regional shows. They did 4 or 5 shows every week.
Yeah.
So we're talking hundreds of events in a year. And
Yeah.
then the question to us was, how will you guarantee that you won't make a mistake? And I said, well,
Wow. Okay.
I told them, my first response is like, well, I can guarantee you that we will make a mistake. I
Yeah.
guarantee you that we will make a
Yeah.
mistake. But
Yeah.
like Epictetus said, it's not what happens, it's how you react to what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I will guarantee you we will make a mistake, and that will
Yeah.
be the last time that mistake happens.
Yeah.
And we will not make that mistake again. We will make a new mistake. Let's make brand new mistakes.
Yeah.
Don't make the same mistake.
Yeah.
And when I got done, we did not get the work, but when it was one of those bittersweet moments I'm sure you can share. Is like when I got down there, like, damn, that was good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We run a staffing agency and similar here. And I always say, customers tell me what happens if people fall sick or they don't show up. And it says, well, I can pretty damn control my contracts. I can control, the booking process and everything. But what I can't control is fate and destiny. Okay,
Right.
so it might be that person is looking forward to the event. They may be one of our more senior people. Okay, and they walk out of the door, and they get, a bus run over their, car run over their feet, for example. Okay, I have
Yeah.
no control over that. The only thing I can do is let you know that something's actually happened, and we're trying our best to find a replacement. Okay,
It's how you
uh,
react. Yeah.
that's how you react. And that's it. That for me, what you've said is that is the ultimate sign of a professional company is how they react when things go wrong, not what they do really well in terms of their day-to-day stuff that's actually expected.
I mean, no offense to our clients. If we could control fate and destiny, we probably would have different jobs.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. All right. So what we're saying is that trust and transparency
Right.
is the key to a brilliant contractor-exhibitor relationship.
Exact trust, transparency, and you have to earn it every day. You
Yeah.
can't rest on, yeah. And you have to, yeah.
Yeah.
If you are, if we tell them all the time, it's a hard lesson to learn, but you have to be transparent and you have to be truthful. And
Yeah.
you
Absolutely. Yeah.
demand the same in exchange.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And what advice would you give an exhibit manager or exhibit planner who's working for a corporate and they've got different departments to deal with, so sales, operations,
Right.
marketing. What advice would you give them to manage those departments' expectations, and what would be the best way for them to handle those last-minute requests and tell the sales manager to, F off, if you like?
Well, all right, there you go. Well, I think so. Lyndon Johnson was a president in the 60s, and he had an
Yeah.
expression that his job was to get everybody inside the tent peeing outside the tent. Don't stand outside the tent and pee inside. Like that's, and I will just tell them, hey, this is my job is bring everybody on this side of the tent and turn around. Like that's, but we had a project, it was a big international project, and it was channel sales, product, all these groups, and that we were told these were the things we had to accomplish, but here's your biggest problem is that no one gets along and that we can't get a decision made. And it goes back to the Priya Parker book. Our first call, we didn't talk anything. The first part of the call was understanding and hearing where they're coming from. And okay, great. So then I said, okay, well, here's where we're coming from is that we're going to build this experience and everybody on this call is on one team and our team is going to kick every other team's ass when we're at this show. So how are we going to do that? And that we made it clear and transparent. And we broke it down to them that it's a thing that a lot of people, when they come to the US, that they complain about is material handling. Yeah. And it was a residential construction product. It was high end. And we said, okay, well, you can have this expensive chandelier, or you can have a slab of marble that weighs a lot and it's expensive to transport, but you can't have a rigging point and a heavy thing. And we made a game out of it. We're like, you're going to give you 5 points, and this is 2 points, and this is 3 points, and you can't go over 5 points. And then when they all came back, and this was something that I was told we were never going to get this done on time. And they all came back and no one used all their points, and they understood. We made it understandable, like broke it down for them, and they all, and then the thing about it is that I think there's 3 stages of a new idea. The first stage of an idea is the idea is ridiculous. Yeah. The second stage is it's controversial. Yeah. And the third stage is it's obvious. Yeah. It seems like there should be third stage should be thank you for that idea. It's never thank you. So now that we've resolved that, we go forward, and no one even talks about it, how this was an insurmountable problem, and we were never gonna figure it out. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we kind of, it was just getting
Yeah.
people to talk to each other.
All right. Okay. All right. Brilliant. So obviously, in an ideal world, everyone would work with Deckel Moneypenny. Okay, for their exhibit building needs. Okay, but where should exhibitors be challenging their contractors? I mean, in what part of the process?
Right.
And you know, we've seen, obviously, we know the industry inside out. Obviously, we've been around the block for a
Mhm.
few years, but I mean, you and I know that there are contractors who will cut corners and try their best to get the profit margins up and things like that. But where would you say the exhibitors need to push contractors a bit more?
That's a great question. And I think too that we tell people this, that the structure that we have and the structure that we focus on, we're not the right fit for everybody. If
Yeah,
somebody has an internal department
yeah,
that does what we do, you could hire somebody and not pay for our department, because we're
yeah,
really not, we're a design, build, execute phase.
yeah, yeah,
You cut out a part of our phase, you probably could get a contract. So like, yeah, you might not need us. You
yeah,
might be fine. But I think it's what I would push back on. If they're always telling you yes, and they're always saying that you're right, take a moment and think about that. How many times in your life are you always right?
yeah.
Not a lot. So
No,
they're not being
yeah,
on. I think that's the thing. Oh, we can do it. I hear that all the time. Oh, we can do it. Oh, we can do it. Well, yeah, you can do it. We can
yeah,
land a man on the moon. It's
yeah,
possible.
yeah,
Should you? Should you? I think that's what I would push back
yeah,
on. Look for a partner who is actually a partner,
yeah,
who's not a vendor, and
yeah,
that is just a waiter getting you another bottle.
yeah. So a partner, not an order taker. I think that's
Exactly.
yeah, and I think if I think this is one of my biggest criticisms of the exhibition contracting industry is that um, they like to say yes too much,
Exactly.
and they're just taking the order. Okay,
I
because
think that's
I've,
what. So you go.
yeah, yeah, I was going to say because I work with quite a few contractors who hire the booth staffing through us as part of their service, which is great. Um, but when I've actually asked them to challenge their client in terms of their requirements, they say, well, we can't do that. So they don't want to push back. Okay. And that makes our life really, really difficult. I mean, it's great that we get to work with so many great projects and contractors, but at the same time, my frustration is that we don't actually have a direct input in terms of supporting the client. So I think that for me is a big frustration. Is more contractors should be challenging their exhibitors on asking the question why.
I completely agree. I think you have to start with the why. Don't start with the
Yeah,
what. Start with the why.
yeah, yeah,
And I think if you have a relationship, the problem with the customer is always right is it's a lie. The customer is
yeah,
not. Even I'm not always
yeah,
right. And I
yeah. Oh,
think
absolutely, yeah,
and I think if you my opinion is people need a professional to speak the truth. If you smoke a pack of cigarettes a day and are very overweight and your doctor says don't worry about it, I don't think you have a good doctor.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Is you are the expert, okay,
Right.
and you are paying for my time or my expertise, okay.
Yeah.
So let me be the expert,
Right.
right?
I have no problem with people if we're not a good fit, we're not a good fit.
Yeah,
And if
Yeah.
you don't need, if they have things that they don't need us to do, we will tell people like, yeah, you might want to hire somebody else because we
Yeah.
are, yeah, this
Oh,
isn't.
absolutely. Yeah. We would do the same. I think we could actually talk all day about this kind of stuff.
I think we could. I think we could.
And we probably have done over a few networking events
Yeah,
and
that's
things.
right.
So just to wrap up, if you could give an exhibitor just
Mhm.
one piece of advice.
Right.
Um, so no, actually, let me just rephrase this. Okay,
Okay.
it's something I'm going to put in there. If you could actually anonymously give
Yeah.
exhibitors one piece of feedback after
Right.
every show,
Right.
what do you think contractors would most frequently write?
I think outside of all the other things that we talked about, something that we didn't
Yeah,
talk about, that is probably what I
yeah,
would tell them is that if you think about when you go to a show city, and for me, so many shows are in Las Vegas, but any big city, you go to a big city, and they wake up, people are bombarded with messages from the time they wake up.
yeah,
By the time they get to their booth, they've been bombarded with 1,000 things.
yeah,
You really have to curate what is the one thing. It will be a success if a human being experiences your exhibit and leaves with one thought.
yeah,
What is that thought? It
yeah,
can't be five. And there's people like when you try to they get what's the one, and all the other
yeah,
ones, those are nice.
yeah, yeah,
They can be included, but what's the one thing? And I think that for people to say, why are they there? What do we want them to know when they leave?
yeah, yeah.
And everything else, timelines, all the other stuff, they can waste money however they want, but that's what they need to focus on.
Absolutely, yeah. I call that the Monday morning test. So what is the one thing that they take away that they can go and sit at the desk and apply first thing on a Monday morning?
Right. That's what I think when
Yeah,
we talk to trade show managers,
yeah,
we say, hey, when you're in your hotel room after a grueling day at the show and you're thinking about that day,
yeah,
what's the thing that makes you happy?
yeah,
How did you know that this was a success?
yeah,
And then a lot of people, they don't think about it. And then when they tell us, it'll be, oh, okay, well, we need to really focus. Like that's how you know you
yeah,
win. So if we
yeah.
aren't talking about it,
Right, okay. All right. My follow-on question was going to be one thing that we ask all our guests is obviously the Expo Factor is all about the difference that makes the difference between having a good show and having a brilliant one.
right.
So would you add anything else on top of that in terms of what is the one thing that would take an exhibitor's results from, just normal to outstanding?
I think it has to be people are really interested in unique experiences and or first time what is new.
Yeah,
It can't just be. A lot of people will go and we don't need to rethink it because we already have this thing. We're just going to bring
mm,
it. We know how to do it. I think what transforms it is to have the empathy for the audience and understand what the audience is looking for and
yeah,
why are they. And I think it's on a profound level. It's like it's not. You can look at it one way with the marketing adage. People don't want a drill bit. People want a hole in the wall.
yeah.
And a lot of people talk about.
Let me raise you one. Let me raise you one. Okay.
Okay.
They don't want to drill a hole. Sorry, yeah. What they actually want is straight line pictures on the
Exactly. They
wall.
want a picture on the
Yeah.
wall. You're right. They don't
In
even
a
want a
straight
hole in
line.
the wall.
In a
Right.
straight line as well, right?
Exactly. Right. No, that's what they want. You're exactly
Yeah,
right. And I think
yeah,
a lot of people spend a lot of times with an exhibit that's talking about drill bits. And
yeah,
I think that's what makes it unique is what you just
yeah,
said is
yeah,
no, they want their pictures to line up.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Great. Thanks for that, Steve.
Well, you did it.
Pleasure talking to you. Yeah. It's been a blast. Where can our viewers and listeners find you?
Well, the best way, I'm on LinkedIn. If you search for Steve Deckel or Deckel and Moneypenny, we're on LinkedIn. Also, I would give the URL.
Yeah.
It's not, I didn't pick the names, but deckelmoneypenny.com is, and we're
Okay.
no association. I know we're no
Yeah.
association with James Bond. Sorry.
No, of course. Yeah. Great. Okay. Fantastic. Steve, it's a pleasure. No doubt I will see you at an IFIS or an EDPA event very soon, or even on the show floor somewhere in the world. So thank you so much. And happy exhibiting in the fall.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lee. You're a great host and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you very much. And that was Steve Deckel with his opinions on what makes a great relationship between a contractor and an exhibitor. The key takeaways for me were that trust and transparency are very important between the exhibitor and the contractor. And it's all about the audience in really understanding why they're exhibiting. So if you're an exhibitor, push your contractors in terms of challenging you on your project or your plan or your ambitions on the show floor, because they will actually be able to help you a lot with their expertise. And from a contractor perspective, always try and challenge your customers. Because they don't know what they don't know. So if you can be the expert, that will do the exhibitor a great favor. Okay, that's it from me. Until the next episode of the Expo Factor, happy exhibiting, and we'll see you soon.